Did you see what just happened? He finished behind George, but Kimi Antonelli was the fastest man on track. Look at these numbers. Now you might look at this box plot and think, okay, so what? Kimi has pretty much the same median lap time as Norris, same as Russell, same as Verstappen. He was running with the pace of the top guys, right? Wrong. Let's go through the lap that these guys pitted on. Max, lap 25. Lando, lap 22. Russell, lap 17. Kimi Antonelli, lap 2. Kimi pitted on lap 2. He ran a 50-lap race where all of the other front runners were complaining about dead tires and graining towards the end. Kimi ran that race 48 laps on the same set of tires. And that's not all right? Wait till you see the next graph where he absolutely gapped them in the last 10 laps. Mexico was the first feature race where Kimi actually finished ahead of George on the road. And I want to just have you take a look at this graph. Now, there's a lot to say about rookies. You talk about what you're actually looking for from a rookie. And we're especially getting into the end of the year now, the last period. These rookies are supposed to be very much ingrained into their teams. They're supposed to be comfortable. You can really tell by this point whether or not a rookie's going to keep his seat. Usually at the end of the year, that's when their performances are supposed to get smoother. And look at that scatter plot. Now, I want to note that for this is their third stint C. They were both on equal tires at the time. They had pitted on the same lap onto the same tire compound. But look how Kimi he's not having some crazy lap. He's not kind of all over the place. He's consistently just a little bit quicker than George. And George Russell, by the way, I rate George. I think that George Russell is a phenomenal driver. I think he's one of the best drivers in the sport right now. And I also think that this year has been George's best year of his career. And with that said, Kimi being able to outperform him by that level. I mean, imagine Bayman had gone to Ferrari and for 3 races in a row, Bayman was quicker than Leclerc. That would blow your mind, right? I think this is pretty much on the same level. Kimi's consistent pace is really, truly unbelievable. And the fact that he's managed to finish ahead of George is certainly no coincidence. Next up, Brazil is exactly the same story. He finished ahead of George on the road, and look at those laps. He's not having one crazy lap where he, shaves off 8 tenths. He is just consistently quicker than George. How much talent does it take to be consistently quicker than George Russell? For me, it's incredible. It's really incredible. And now, finally, the graph for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Now, you look at this graph and you think, okay, where's that consistency that we were just talking about? The other graphs with these beautiful, neat little lines, where's the There's some context here, okay? Those first few laps, let's say the left half-most part of the scatter plot, Kimi was in heavy traffic. Keep in mind, he pitted on lap 2. He was at the back of the field. So these are laps where one lap he's behind a car, he finally gets passed on the next lap, then he spends 2 more laps behind another car, passes them. So those lap times are all over the place. But that's not what I think is really interesting here. So you can see from lap 17, Russell pits, okay? Now keep in mind, lap 17, Antonelli's tires are already 15 laps old by this point, okay? So Russell hops onto the same tire compound, and you can see immediately Russell has this sort of considerably faster lap time than Kimi. Russell's coming out ahead of Kimi. He's in a lot less traffic as well, but faster, right? But now, this is the special sauce. This is what you have clicked on this video to see, all right? Try and draw a line. Actually, I'm going to draw a line for you. Okay, there you go. And maybe now you can see what I'm trying to show you. Look at George's time evolving over the course of his stint on those tires. Okay, keep in mind, pitted on lap 17. He's now running up until lap 50 on that pair of tires. And what do you see? Exactly what you would expect to see, right? It's getting a little bit slower every lap. The tires are degrading. That's the kind of thing that you would expect, right? Not from Kimi Antonelli. Kimi Antonelli, who has been on these tires for the whole race, starts to put in, from half race distance onwards, laps that are faster and faster and faster, to the point, look at the difference in those last 5, 6, 7, 8 laps. Look at the difference. That is a second a lap easy. He is gapping George Russell. I mean, at a rate of knots, he's gapping George Russell on tires that are 17 laps older, on tires that he was following cars in, did numerous overtakes on in the beginning of the lap. These are tires that have seen the action of the race. And Kimi Antonelli is putting a second a lap on George Russell, who I believe is one of the top drivers in the sport at the absolute peak of his performance. As far as I'm concerned, that's the most impressive performance we've ever seen from Kimi Antonelli. That was unreal. And I cannot wait for the remainder of the season to see how he does. But more importantly, you know what they've been saying? Mercedes is going to be quick next year, power unit, all in all. I think he's one to watch.